Hey, Carmen, are you there? Oh my gosh, how long has it been since you and I last talked? It has to have at least been a whole year now, right? Isn't that so crazy? I guess that must have been when I stole your super smart, super rich boyfriend John from you, huh? Man, to think that you were so close to living an easy life and not having to worry about money or working or anything like that ever again. But you must have been pretty shocked when you realized that you were betrayed by him for me, huh? I mean, what was the bigger shock, having your husband leave you for another woman, or that the woman was your own sister? That must have been like a double whammy for you. Don't worry, I know all about how you probably feel about it, but just because I understand doesn't mean I'm going to be giving back John to you anytime soon. Are you seriously texting me at 3 in the morning just to send me this crap? Can you at least wait until the normal hours of the day before you start trying to brag about how amazing your life is to me, Lisa? Well, you were already up anyways, right? I actually just happened to get up to use the bathroom, if you must know. But if you're still trying to lord something over me from a year ago, I've moved on and don't care about you or John anymore. What is that supposed to mean, huh? It means that I'm going to bed, because it's 3 in the morning, Lisa. Hold on a second, we weren't through here. I still have more that I want to say to you. Well, I'm already putting my phone down, so... I really can't believe that you're such a sore loser that you would rather pretend to go to sleep than listen to what I have to say. You must be so scared of having to face the truth. That's why you act like this, huh? You really think I bought that my messages didn't get you wide awake or that you're already over losing John? I know that your heart is still just so full of love for him. You probably spent the rest of the night just crying into your pillow, didn't you? All because you can't handle the fact that you were beaten by your little sister who is living a much better life than you now. You think you can fool me with some half-hearted message about being over the past? There's no way that I'd ever buy that. But now that I have you at a decent time of day, I just wanted to let you know that you are never going to get John back from me. You're going to be single and poor for the rest of your life, and there's nothing that you can do about it, ever. Got it? Hey, why aren't you responding to me at all? I see that you've already opened up these messages. Well, as long as I have you here, I also just wanted to let you know that I saw you going into your tiny shack of an apartment building. To think that you used to be a housewife to someone who was rich and successful, and now you live in a messed up little place like that. I've always wondered what it's like to have to live in a place like that. Care to share any of your thoughts with me on the matter? Right, well, I guess whether or not my apartment is really all that bad is more in the eye of the beholder, if you ask me. I mean, I pay over $3,000 in rent a month, so I think it's pretty nice, but I guess others might not see it that way. Hold on a second. You pay over $3,000 a month for that place? Is that supposed to be some kind of joke? Or did you just tell me the wrong number? You're telling me that it's a 3 followed by 3 zeros? And you pay even more than that? I know that you live in one of the worst parts of town, and you expect me to believe that not only do you pay that much in rent, but you think that it's not a bad place? It has nothing to do with the eye of the beholder or anything. You just have a terrible apartment and are lying to me about it. So you mean that it's really been a whole year since you and John ran off together and you still haven't figured it out? Figured what out? What are you talking about, huh? Just what kind of game are you trying to play here? You mean you really have no idea at all about what's been happening to John's dad's company? Quit talking in circles and just tell me what you're going on about. I am not going to play some little guessing game with you, got it? I'll try and make this quick for you then. When you and John got together last year, I really was shocked and didn't know how to react at all. But that's when I noticed the mistake that you made. The only mistake that I could exploit to my advantage. Do you have any idea what I could be talking about at all, Lisa? No, I don't, because you sound like a crazy person rambling about nothing. I know that you're just mad and jealous of the fact that I'm living the good life with John, and no creepy or threatening thing you say is going to scare me or change that fact. Well, okay then. I suppose I won't bother finishing my thought then, but just don't say that I didn't warn you. You didn't warn me about anything at all. You're just acting as if I'm supposed to know some big obvious fact that you're refusing to tell me. You really know how to get under my skin, do you know that? I get that you're still mad because I stole your husband, but that's no reason for you to still be so upset. I mean, just take it as proof that I'm the better sister between us and leave it at that. Just face it, I'm full of beauty and brains and everything you're not. You're certainly full of something, at least on that we can agree. What did you just say to me? Just what is that supposed to mean, huh? Why are you always such an awful jerk? I really don't have time nor the energy to get into this with you. But I've given you more than a fair warning. If you really don't know what's going on under your own roof, though, well, that's not my problem in the slightest. Yeah. I'm so scared of whatever fake story you've come up with to try and scare me, you liar. You really think that I'm going to listen to what some poor lonely old hag has to say to me? I bet you're just mad from living in your tiny little apartment squandering your lonely life away, and this was the only thing you could think of to relieve some stress. But I'm not going to fall for it. I'm better than you and above this petty nonsense. And by the way, John and I are about to leave for a trip overseas, so what do you think about that? We've been taking these trips every couple of months since him and I got married. This could have been your life if you were good enough to keep your man. In fact, this time, it's only been 1 month since our last big trip abroad, so you can go ahead and be jealous of us while we go do some globetrotting. Right, well, that sounds like none of my business, but I suppose I just hope that you can enjoy it while you can. That's what I thought, loser. I knew that you'd have nothing to say to that. Carmen, are you there? Do you have any idea about this? Just what is going on here? I know you know, so give me some answers now. Oh, Lisa, so lovely to hear from you. Did you and John make it back from your trip okay? I hope that you enjoyed your little vacation. Welcome home. What do you mean, welcome home? That's exactly what I'm messaging you about. There isn't any home for us to go back to. I'm sorry, Lisa, but I'm sure that I have no idea what you're talking about in the slightest. What do you mean there's no home? I mean that we got back from our trip and then we were going to go to John's parents' house where we've been living. But when we got there, there was a construction crew there and they were in the process of tearing the house down. Oh, that. Right. I had almost forgotten all about that, to be perfectly honest. You mean that you know about this? Is this what you mean in those messages you were sending me last month? Is this what you were trying to warn me about? No more games. I want answers right now. Well, if it's answers you want, I wouldn't waste your time talking to me. You should go and talk to John's parents instead. I'm sure they would love to fill you in. What is that supposed to mean? Do they know about this? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You mean you haven't even tried reaching out to them at all about this? You might have talked to some of your neighbors there about what's going on, but I'm sure they probably don't have too much more to say to you than they moved. But it's because they don't know what's really going on. Why don't you try calling your in-laws and asking them just where they're living now? I don't know what game you're trying to pull, but I just want you to know that the jig is up and you aren't going to scare me anymore. John called his dad and asked where he and his mom were right now. They told us that they had actually moved and that if we were going to see them, we would have to brace ourselves. But that can only mean one thing to me. It must mean that they moved to an even bigger and better house and they want to surprise us. I bet it's going to be huge, like 3 stories with a pool, maybe even a statue garden. Oh man, it's going to be like living in a palace, I bet. I can't wait to see their new place so I can rub it in your face. What the heck is going on here? Please tell me this is some kind of sick joke or something. Just what even is this place? Ugh, what is it? What do you want this time? Why can't you just experience something and keep your thoughts to yourself, huh? I mean, I don't understand. We went to the address that John's parents gave us, and it just took us to the crappy old apartment that you live in. This doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, is that where you're at right now? Well, I guess I should have guessed that that was what was going on. What are you talking about? You mean you knew this was going to happen? What else aren't you telling me? I have a right to know. I already told you I'm the wrong person to ask if you want answers. If you really want to know what's going on, you need to ask your in-laws. But why? Why can't you just tell me what's happening? Why are you trying to play these games with me? I just don't really see why I should have to explain anything to you at all after what you did to me. If you want answers, you're going to have to go out and find them yourself. I have got a really, really bad feeling about this. I know I'm not going to like whatever comes next. Oh wow, it's already morning. I had no idea that time was even passing. I was just spacing out for so long. After hearing about how John's father was kicked out of his position as CEO and John lost his role in upper management, I don't think I've moved a single inch since they've told me. So I take it that means you finally worked up the courage to ask your parents about what was going on? Did John and his father come clean to you about getting caught embezzling from the company? That's why the board of directors decided that the next CEO would have to be someone from outside the family. I know, they told me about all of that already. I was so shocked that I've been sitting in place for hours now. I only noticed it was morning because the sun began to shine in my eyes and it finally snapped me out of my trance. And when I came to, we were still in this tiny little apartment. Well, you better get used to it. That is going to be your life from now on. The two of them were sued by the company and made to return all the money that they had stolen. Then they were fired. So they really were fired then? It's not just a suspension or a demotion or something like that? That's right. In fact, I had a feeling that John was doing this even when we were married. It was actually one of the reasons I was so keen to leave him when I did. I know that he and his dad were lining their pockets with the company's money even if I didn't have any proof. I confronted John one day and he ended up spilling everything to me. But it wasn't long after that I found out you two were seeing each other. So I figured I would just rescue myself from the problem and walk away. You have got to be kidding me. How could you just let me walk straight into this situation? I didn't think that you'd be stupid enough not to realize what was happening. But you were, and you tried rubbing your marriage to him in my face. So then, that's why we were living in this tiny little apartment? Are you telling me that you're really paying more than $3,000 a month for this place? Sorry, but you seem to be mistaken again there, Lisa. What are you talking about? What more could you possibly have to tell me? I'm not sure just how much more of this I can take, Carmen. That apartment actually belongs to a friend of mine who helped me out after John and I got divorced. But that isn't the $300 apartment that I'm talking about. The place I live and pay rent for is in another town, if you must know. Wait, so then this isn't your address? But I thought that you were living in this apartment. I know that's what you thought, but you came up with that all on your own and never bothered to check with me if it was really true. But I thought that you were just a housewife. How can you afford that price for an even nice place, even though you weren't even working before? I was never ever a housewife, even when John and I were married, Lisa. What do you mean by that? What did you do then? I thought you just laze around the house and would clean from time to time or make John dinner. Well, you're wrong about that. I was working. It was just that I had a job that I could do from home. I was selling real estate from home and actually managed to make a pretty decent salary for myself. You're kidding me. I had no idea that that's what you were doing. Why didn't I know about that? But if I can be honest with you, I only pay a third of the rent for the place I'm at now. The rest of the money comes from Mom and Dad. But why would they be paying for your apartment? That doesn't make any sense. Well, that's because they're here living with me in this very apartment, of course. Wait, what? They're living with you in your apartment right now? You mean you really didn't know about this at all? Then again, Mom and Dad do always tell me how they do their best to avoid talking to you ever since you stole your own sister's husband from her. So I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't tell you about their move out to live with me. But Dad even talked to his company and asked for a transfer out here so that he and Mom could come and be with me. I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I really had no idea that any of that had happened at all. You mean that Dad really never mentioned any of this to you at all? Well, he might have said one thing, but I didn't know that you were all going to live together in some really nice place. I thought that you had just convinced Mom and Dad to take your side and that you were going to live with them to mooch off of them. And have you heard it all from Dad since he talked about people moving? I haven't at all. That's probably because both Mom and Dad have blocked you on everything and never want to talk to you again. But I thought that they were just having money problems and couldn't afford to pay for their phones. I can't believe they would do that to me after already being so mean about my marriage. You mean your marriage to my ex-husband who you stole from me? Did you really think that Mom or Dad were ever going to go for that? I mean, you know how much Dad talks about the importance of making your own way through the world. He was so disappointed in you when he found out that you had just stolen my husband all because you heard he was rich. But now you and John's family can all work hard to afford that tiny little place together. Don't worry, the rent is quite cheap. It's 10 times less than what I'm paying. How did it all come to this? I just don't understand. This isn't fair. I ended up showing my parents the final conversation that I had with Lisa, and they just shook their heads. I feel like a part of them is holding out hope in their hearts that Lisa's going to have some sense knocked into her, but I just don't have time to hold out for that anymore. We all wonder about what went wrong with Lisa and how she ended up the way she did. My parents think that they might have spoiled her too much as the younger sister. She never worked a day in her life and could basically get anything she asked for. But now I guess she'll have to learn to take care of her own and others now that her and John's family will all be looking for work soon. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.